3 swing basics with the irons that all levels of golfers should know about. That's what today's video is all about. So without further ado, let's get stuck in.
Listen to hard work, they calling it talent. And I find that disrespectful cause I put on the mileage. Up for the shit, but I'm down for the challenge. Step off the scene just to find me a balance.
Now where we're going to begin is where, in my opinion, most people go wrong, and it's paramount that all levels, especially beginner golfers, understand this. Now, the first question I'll ask any golfer, especially beginner golfers, is how do you think that this golf club needs to hit this golf ball in order to get the ball from the floor into the air? And the most common answer is they believe that the golf club has to be moving on the way up at the moment of impact, and they have to strike the floor just before the ball in order to do that. Well, if I was to go and do that successfully, what you'd see is the golf club enter the ground right before the golf ball, divot roll over the ball, and the golf ball not go very far at all, yet alone get into the air. So it's important for us to understand that physically we can't argue with the fact that the golf club has to be travelling on the way down at the moment it strikes the golf ball, and the intention of the golf club and the intention of the golfer in turn is to strike the ground just the smallest hair ahead of the golfer. So if I was to be striking this golf ball towards my left, where my thumb would be placed is where I would look to strike the ground as an intention when striking this golf ball, and we've discussed a couple of ways now in how you can do that. Now, my favourite way for you to train this is simply by using a piece of chalk. So grab yourself a piece of chalk on your range mat and draw a nice big line like so. Now, what this chalk line represents is our intention as to where our golfer wants to strike the ground. So, setting up with the golf ball in the middle of our stance, which is very important. And if I was to show you from this perspective, you would see how when I'm setting up to any iron, I want to make sure the golf ball is in the middle of my stance when doing this. So with that in mind, I want to place the ball just fractionally behind the line, no more than a thumb's width or so behind. And my intention is now to strike the chalk line on the way through as my target. If I can do that a few times without the golf ball, that's going to give me confidence and awareness as to where I want to strike the ground and where that chalk line is, before I can then go ahead, set up to the golf ball, again in the middle of my stance, and my intention is on striking the chalk line, not the golf ball, but striking the chalk line on the way through to achieve a centered strike. For you guys who are on grass driving ranges, another way you can do this is you can put a tee just a smidge in front of the ball, and you can try and strike the tee that way. Or if you're on the golf course, you can just pick a blemish or a blade of grass just a centimetre or two in front of the golf ball, and again shift your intention from striking the golf ball to striking that piece of grass, and you're going to ensure a much crisper strike and a much crisper, or should I say, better intention of golf shot from there. Now, the second basic we can all focus on getting right is the grip, the way we hold the golf club. Now, there's two simple things I like people to think about, and that is when we're gripping the golf club, we want to think about gripping the golf club in the base of our fingers, and after we grip the golf club, we are looking at the V. So this is the crease in between your thumb and your index finger, and your ability for both of these creases to trace up towards your trail shoulder. So in my case, my right shoulder. Now, from a routine perspective, a routine is how I like people to grip this, rather than kind of just clamping the golf club with both hands and trying to figure out your hands from there. When we're getting set up, make sure the golf club is facing nice and straight towards target, and introduce your lead hand first, so your left hand in my case. So now we want to get the golf club in the base of the fingers, and the best way to do this is actually go about gripping it from the side. If you can grip the golf club in the base of the fingers, approaching the golf club from the side, you'll find it much easier to now grip the golf club and see that crease go up towards my right armpit. And only from there, once you're happy that the grip is in the right place and the club face is nice and straight towards target, to introduce the right hand and again grip it in the base of the fingers, crease towards my right shoulder, and I now have a nice solid grip. Now, what we see from this perspective, the back of the hands, is 3 different types of grip. We have a baseball grip, or a 10-finger grip. We have a interlock grip, or an overlap grip. So you guys who are kind of newish or newer to golf, I'm not too fussed which grip you go for back here, just as long as you focus on where the golf club is placed in the hands and where the creases are towards the right shoulder. However, I'd never like to see a gap underneath here, what I would call a hockey grip. That'd be the only thing I would say no to. So grip is all about routine. Base of the fingers, crease to the right shoulder, make sure this club face is nice and straight when doing so, and then introducing the right hand in turn from there. And the last part of this video, the final basic that any golfer can get right, especially for you guys who are beginner golfers watching this video, is your ability to get through the golf ball and how I describe as holding the pose. And usually I find this has come from residue from misinterpretation of the first bullet point of this video, strike. As I said to you at the start of the video, most people believe that the golf club needs to move up in order to strike the ball, and subsequently I will see a lot of this move through the ball, where they will back up onto their right leg or my trail leg and help the golf ball up in that kind of fashion rather than moving through the golf ball, no different than you would if I was to give you a golf ball and ask you to throw it as far as you can. So once we've got our idea of strike right, ball position and grip, our final piece of the jigsaw that any of us can do is now learn to move through the golf ball while striking the ground in the appropriate position. And a really good phrase I like to use here is hold the pose. Can I hold the finish like the pros do, Rory McIlroy style, and feel like my right foot or trail foot is up in the air when doing this? This doesn't only just look good, but this serves a purpose and a function of allowing you to get through the ball and finish in a nice, balanced and composed manner in order to achieve this task. So just a little roundup of all the points that we've covered. When we go to driving range, we want to make sure this golf ball is in the middle of my stance, and I want to make sure my grip is in the appropriate way, in the crease of the fingers, with the crease going up towards my right shoulder or trail shoulder as well. From there, I'm going to make a nice swing, try and strike the ground just fractionally in front of the golf ball, and when doing so, I want to finish my swing getting through the ball to this nice hold your pose type finish from there. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you have any questions, drop me a comment in the comment section down below or give me a follow on my socials. For any online or individual coaching, drop me a follow on the SKILLEST app, searching David Atkins, and drop me a message on there. But until next time, catch you on the next one.
These niggas is missing the hard work, they calling it talent. And I find that disrespectful cause I put on the mileage. Up for the shit, but I'm down for the challenge. Step off the scene just to find me a balance. These niggas don't want it to get it cause when it got hard.